I want to go back to Trey Yingst. There's some action in Kyiv. Trey.
Martha, we just heard a number of explosions. You can hear behind me the air raid sirens going off in the Ukrainian capital. This city is under attack as we speak. There were many explosions taking place in the northern part of Kyiv. We just talked about how that was part of what appeared to be an effort by the Ukrainian forces to hold off those Russian troops that are trying to make their way into this capital city. But those sirens that you just heard, a message to the Ukrainian people here in Kyiv to get underground as quickly as possible, and that air raids are likely to take place by the Russians. Give me 1 second. Do we have a helmet here? I can still hear you, Martha.
Go ahead. Put your helmet on, and we can hear those air raid sirens. You know, in terms of the anti-aircraft abilities of the military in Kyiv, I guess that's about to get tested, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the Russians claimed that they had taken out all of the Ukrainian air defense systems. But just yesterday, we saw one active near the capital city. So this indicates the Ukrainians still have some ability to push back these air raid assaults on the capital of Kyiv. They are asking for more. And NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg indicated today that NATO members are going to give the Ukrainians more air defense systems because they understand how heavily this country has been getting hit in the past 2 days from the air by the Russian Air Force. But these air raid sirens indicate they are going to continue hitting this city, and the explosions off in the distance right now, likely a few miles from where we're standing, Martha.
All right. You know, Trey, I'm probably hard to tell from where you are, but give us a sense of what some of the likely targets would be in Kyiv.
We know yesterday when the Russians targeted a building very close to where we're standing, it was an intelligence office for the Ukrainian government. And so just stay with me here, Martha. I need to listen here.
Go ahead.
You can hear the jets in the sky above us. Some of the buildings that are being targeted by Russian forces are linked to the intelligence officials in the Ukrainian capital, but also military installations on the outskirts of the city have been hit quite significantly. Just listen here. The mayor of Kyiv earlier tonight said that a thermal power plant was hit just north of the city. We've not been able to independently confirm that, but we know that the Russians have been targeting infrastructure around this capital. But it's not just Kyiv that's getting hit. Kharkiv, the second largest city in Ukraine, also taking incoming fire. And there are also significant reports indicating that ground battles are taking place as the line of contact shifts each and every hour. This is a conflict that has spiraled quickly out of control. And that is part of the reason that you hear these desperate pleas from the Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky, to the international community, not just to pressure the United States and European allies to shift the pressure onto Russian President Putin, but also to provide that critical support in the form of weapons, anti-aircraft batteries, and anti-tank missiles, those Javelin missiles, all used in this fight against the Russians, because it's not just a ground operation. As you heard there, the sirens blaring throughout this capital city. Russia is hitting Ukraine from the air and from the ground. There are also reports from my colleague Lucas Tomlinson and our colleague at the Pentagon, Jennifer Griffin, that there is a campaign taking place in the southern part of Ukraine by Russian forces from the Sea of Azov. So this is a multi-pronged approach by the Russian military, and it makes it extremely difficult for the Ukrainians to organize and then launch counter-assaults against these Russian troops across Ukraine. Yeah. Martha.
Well, we expect that we're going to hear more from the Pentagon in terms of that additional air support that might be provided, or any aircraft support that could be provided from NATO, and how quickly it could get there, because it certainly feels like time is getting very short for Kyiv in terms of an assault by the air and likely a ground assault as well. Trey, thank you very much. We're going to go back to you.
You can hear those sirens again.
Absolutely. And we will go back to you as things develop.